Welcome, brave souls, to another spine-chilling journey into the unknown, here on Mystify Me, True Crime and Enigmatic Investigations. Tonight we unravel a tale steeped in sorrow, mystery and unspeakable terror. A story that has haunted the minds of locals for generations. If you're a fan of ghost stories, legends, and unraveling the dark secrets of the past, you've come to the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the next hair-raising episode. Now let's step into the shadowy halls of an abandoned estate where a tragic love story took a sinister turn. This is the legend of the Phantom Bride. In a forgotten corner of the world stands an old, dilapidated estate. The walls, once pristine, are now cracked and overgrown with vines, and the windows, long shattered, gape like empty eyes staring into a bleak past. This forsaken place is not just a relic of history, it's the home of a legend that sends shivers down the spines of all who hear it. The tale of the Phantom Bride begins with a beautiful young woman named Eleanor, whose story would be remembered not for the joy of her wedding day, but for the sorrow that followed. Eleanor was the only daughter of a wealthy landowner, a man known for his stern demeanor and strict expectations. She was betrothed to a man of equal standing, a match made not in love, but in the cold calculation of status and wealth. Her fiancé, Edward, was a charming yet secretive man whose allure masked a heart devoid of true affection. Despite her initial reservations, Eleanor, ever the dutiful daughter, agreed to the marriage, hoping that love might bloom in the days that followed. But fate had other plans. On the eve of their wedding, as the estate was bustling with preparations, an unsettling feeling gripped Eleanor. She couldn't shake the sense of foreboding that weighed heavily on her heart. That night, she sought solace in her wedding dress, a gown of pure white satin and delicate lace, a symbol of the hope she desperately clung to. As she tried on the dress, admiring its beauty in the mirror, a sudden gust of wind blew through the room, extinguishing the candles and plunging her into darkness. When the lights flickered back to life, Eleanor felt a chill in the air and noticed something strange, a faint, almost imperceptible stain on the hem of her gown, as if touched by something unholy. Brushing it off as nerves, Eleanor retired to bed, but sleep would not come. She tossed and turned, her mind plagued by nightmares of shadowy figures and whispers of doom. When she awoke the next morning, her unease had not abated, but she pushed it aside, determined to face the day with courage. The day of the wedding dawned bright and clear, a stark contrast to the gloom that had settled over Eleanor's heart. The estate was a flurry of activity as guests arrived, dressed in their finest attire, unaware of the tragedy that was about to unfold. Eleanor, resplendent in her wedding gown, stood before the grand mirror, her reflection staring back at her with an expression of dread. The stain on her dress had grown darker, more pronounced, yet no one else seemed to notice. She felt as if the gown was whispering to her, telling her to run, to escape before it was too late. But there was no escape from what was to come. As the ceremony began, Eleanor walked down the aisle, her steps heavy with the weight of an unseen force. She met Edward's gaze, but instead of the love and reassurance she longed for, she saw only coldness, as if he were a stranger she had never known. The vows were spoken, the rings exchanged, and just as the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, the doors of the estate burst open with a deafening crash. A figure stood in the doorway, shrouded in darkness, their face hidden beneath a hood. The guests gasped, but before anyone could react, the figure spoke in a voice that was both familiar and foreign, a voice that sent a shock of terror through Eleanor's soul. The words were a curse, a damning proclamation that echoed through the halls. sealing Eleanor's fate. The figure revealed itself to be Edward's former lover, a woman who had been cast aside in his pursuit of wealth and status. Her heart had been shattered, and in her grief she had turned to dark forces for revenge. She had cursed the wedding dress, binding Eleanor's soul to it, ensuring that she would never find peace, even in death. As the curse took hold, Eleanor felt her body grow cold, her breath becoming shallow. The guests watched in horror as her skin paled, and her eyes filled with tears of blood. Edward tried to reach her, but it was too late. Eleanor collapsed to the floor, the life drained from her body. The last thing she saw was the cursed wedding dress, now soaked in crimson, a symbol of her eternal torment. The estate fell silent after Eleanor's death, the joy of the day replaced by a suffocating sense of dread. Edward, stricken with guilt and fear, abandoned the estate, leaving it to rot in the wilderness. But Eleanor's spirit did not leave. Bound to the cursed wedding dress, she became the phantom bride, a restless soul trapped within the walls of the forsaken estate. It is said that every night, as the clock strikes midnight, the ghost of Eleanor appears in her wedding gown, haunting the shadowy halls of the estate. Her once beautiful face is now twisted in anguish, her eyes hollow and lifeless. She wanders the corridors, her soft weeping echoing through the darkness, a mournful cry for the love she was denied. Locals who dare to approach the estate speak of eerie sightings, glimpses of a ghostly figure moving through the windows, the sound of footsteps in the empty halls, and the faint scent of roses lingering in the air, a reminder of the wedding that never was. Some have even claimed to see the wedding dress itself, floating as if held by invisible hands, its once pristine fabric now stained with blood. But the haunting doesn't end there. Those who venture into the estate often find strange messages scratched into the dust of the forgotten attic, messages that seem to be warnings or pleas for help. The words are cryptic, but they suggest a fate far more sinister than mere heartbreak, a fate that has been concealed for decades. As the years passed, rumors of the Phantom Bride grew, attracting thrill-seekers, paranormal investigators, and those with a morbid curiosity. Some came searching for proof of the afterlife, while others sought to unravel the mystery of Eleanor's death. But what they found was something far darker than they had ever imagined. One such investigator, a man named Victor Hartwell, dedicated his life to uncovering the truth behind the legend. He spent years researching the history of the estate, delving into old records, letters, and diaries, piecing together a story that had been hidden for generations. Victor discovered that the curse on Eleanor's wedding dress was not the only dark secret connected to the estate. Long before Eleanor's tragic wedding, the estate had been the site of a series of gruesome events, disappearances, murders, and inexplicable occurrences that had plagued the land for centuries. The estate's original owner, a man known only as Lord Blackwood, had been a practitioner of the occult, dabbling in dark rituals and forbidden magic. It was said that Lord Blackwood had made a pact with a malevolent spirit, offering up the souls of his descendants in exchange for power and immortality. The curse on Eleanor's wedding dress was merely the latest manifestation of this ancient evil, a curse that had claimed the lives of countless others before her. As Victor dug deeper, he uncovered evidence of a hidden chamber beneath the estate, a place where Lord Blackwood had conducted his most vile rituals. The chamber was said to be the source of the estate's darkness, a place where the veil between the living and the dead was thin, allowing spirits to cross over into our world. Victor knew that the only way to free Eleanor's spirit was to find this chamber and destroy the source of the curse. Armed with this knowledge, he set out to confront the evil that had haunted the estate for generations. On a stormy night, much like the one that had claimed Eleanor's life, Victor arrived at the estate, determined to end the curse once and for all. As he stepped inside, the air grew heavy with a sense of impending doom. The halls were silent, but Victor could feel the presence of the phantom bride, watching him, waiting. He followed the clues he had uncovered, making his way to the attic where the strange messages had been found. There, hidden beneath the floorboards, he discovered a trap door leading to the underground chamber. With a deep breath, Victor descended into the darkness, his heart pounding in his chest. The chamber was exactly as he had feared, a place of unimaginable horror. The walls were lined with ancient symbols, and in the center of the room stood an altar, stained with the blood of countless victims. But the most terrifying sight was the wedding dress, now fully animated, floating above the altar, its fabric billowing as if caught in an unseen wind. Victor knew that this was the moment of truth. He recited the incantation he had painstakingly researched, a spell meant to break the curse and banish the evil spirit that had claimed Eleanor's soul. As he spoke the words, the chamber began to shake, the walls groaning under the weight of the dark magic that had held it together for so long. The wedding dress shrieked, a sound that pierced Victor's soul, but he continued, his voice growing stronger with each word. The dress began to unravel, the threads disintegrating into dust, and as it did, Victor saw a figure emerge from the shadows, a ghostly silhouette that could only be Eleanor. She looked at him with eyes full of sorrow and gratitude, her form flickering as the curse was lifted. With one final word, Victor completed the incantation, and the chamber erupted in a blinding light. The darkness that had plagued the estate for centuries was finally destroyed, and with it, the phantom bride was freed from her torment. When the light faded, Victor found himself standing alone in the now empty chamber. The wedding dress was gone, and with it, the presence that had haunted the estate. The air was still, the oppressive weight of the curse lifted at last. Victor left the estate that night, never to return. He published his findings, sharing the true story of the phantom bride with the world, and the estate was eventually demolished, its dark history buried beneath the earth. But the legend of the phantom bride lived on, a cautionary tale of love, betrayal, and the dangers of dabbling in forces beyond our understanding. And so, dear viewers, the story comes to an end. But the question remains, was the curse truly broken? Or does the spirit of the phantom bride still linger, waiting for the day when the estate will rise again? Some say they can still hear her weeping on stormy nights, her sorrowful cry carried on the wind. Perhaps the curse was not so easily vanquished after all. If you enjoyed this terrifying tale, make sure to like this video, share it with fellow ghost story enthusiasts, and let us know in the comments if you believe in the power of curses. Do you think the phantom bride's spirit is truly at rest? Or do you sense that there's more to this story than meets the eye? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more eerie tales and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and remember, some secrets are better left buried.